Options now for finding a date. There are so many. I don't know. You do the online thing. Maybe it's Uncle Harry who has this great girl who works in the office that he'd love to set you up with. There's the matchmaker to match you up and strike out on your own, of course. Stef of StefInTheCity.com is a professional in terms of love and finding your match. And Stef, you've got the facts.
Yes, there's a lot of dating statistics out there, and a lot of people get very confused because they watch a commercial and they say, well, what should I pay attention to? And what are the real statistics in terms of meeting someone online or through a matchmaker or at events? And how can you decide what's best for you and not get frustrated by these
online
stats?
is an enormous industry now. And I think sometimes professional matchmakers like you even have an online component. So it's kind of a ubiquitous means to finding somebody.
Well, we don't actually do online like that, but we still recommend that that's a great way, especially, if you're in the 50-plus market, believe it or not, that is a great way to meet people. You just have to understand how much time goes into it and what the actual statistics are. So let's say you decide to go online. Do you have any idea of, for every 10 people you contact, how many people you might hear back from?
Okay, one.
That is the correct number. And a lot of people get frustrated because they go and see all these great guys or great women and they assume, well, they're perfect for me. And if they don't hear back from him, they think that hearing back from 1 out of 10 is bad statistics.
And then you get discouraged. You start thinking, what's wrong with me?
But you have to look at it like looking for a job. You're going to see great jobs. And what I always tell my clients is to have what's called an A and a B list. Just because it looks great online doesn't mean when you meet them either. See, if you only focus and say these 10 are the ones I want to meet, and you only get one back, you get discouraged. But it also only takes one good date to maybe turn into one great relationship.
It's the motivation to keep you going. And you said for older people, it's probably a pretty good alternative now. Is that because it's harder for them to find people?
Well, if you look in terms of the statistics too, the singles events are really geared to the 40 and under set. And then kind of when you get over 40, you're looking at people, they're trying to even group 40 to 60 together. So again, someone's going to say, oh, I'm a really active 50-year-old, and then they feel that the other 50-year-olds are not at that same type of level. Your best bet really is to go towards the types of clubs or places where there's a membership or something, not just going to a singles event where your stats are kind of on the low side of meeting somebody.
I know a lot of advertising. You see the eHarmony, Match.com, and they look very enticing, and they have real people there who've been through the process ostensibly successfully, and you think, gosh, this is very enticing.
Well, again, you have to take a look at the statistics in terms of your age, in terms of what you're looking for. You can't just watch a commercial. My sister did meet her husband online, but she hit in what I call the good statistics that she and her husband did online for about 3 to 4 months, and they found each other within that time. If you hit over a certain amount of time, people get more discouraged. But I was on Match.com, and they actually approached me to be on one of those commercials.
Oh,
and I went it was a casting agency, and I said, but I'm not dating anybody. And they said, we'll find you somebody. So just so you know, those wonderful dates you see on Match.com
may not be actual dates.
Yeah, they're if they would have told me that's how they were going to do it for me on Match.com, is that they were going to pick them out, and this person has to be nice because they're going to go on television and they're going to be cute. Of course, it's going to work out great. So those commercials you see, those aren't as real. But I can tell you, I do know with JDate that some of the people I've seen that they've used, I do know have met people. But like they've had people on there and they said, oh, we met, and one person lived in one state and another state. They met on the singles trip. They did not meet actually online. So again, the way that things are presented, you have to realize that statistics are just statistics, and you can't get discouraged by comparing yourself to what is claimed on television or in the media.
You say discouraged, and I think one of the big things that is discouraging is people start second-guessing the whole process of marriage. I had lunch yesterday with a fella, and he's divorced, but he's been living with a girlfriend for a couple of years. They have a baby, and he says this is the new nuclear family. And people look at the divorce stats, and they start thinking, gosh, is this really what I want to do?
Well, the problem, again, looking into those stats, you don't realize that there are a lot of, it's not tailored to people who have more education. It's not tailored to it's just not tailored to somebody like Tom Cruise. How many times has he been married? 3. He's going back in that pool. So, it's not tailored to people who are actors or people who are celebrities. So you start hearing the celebrities that they meet someone and they get married and then they get divorced. So the way that marriage
in that world, that is the norm. You gotta believe that the divorce rate is way above the standard of 50%.
But they're flipped in with everybody else in all these statistics.
They're
and
skewing the numbers.
Exactly. So you're taking it because if you take a look, what I would take your numbers is go look at your high school class. See what percentage of people you see are married and divorced. Take it from, a closer base than to look at all these statistics, because it's the same thing. If you were to look at the statistics in terms of jobs, how many times are you changing your career? Does everybody change their career 4 to 8 times? Not everybody does. So it's also based on the individual, and take a look at what type of values you have in marriage, and again, what you're looking to get married for.
Stef of StefandtheCity.com. Give us an anecdote. Got some good success stories of late?
Yes, I do. I did some dating coaching, and I was very excited because I told somebody that, again, they had to take a look, and they were nervous about, because of what they heard on the statistics about online dating and all the weirdos they might run into. She didn't want to try it. And I said, okay, come on. You got to at least try it, and you got to do. I said, between our sessions, which were a month long, I said, you have to go on 5 dates, just 5. And so she did it, and she came in, and I said, I have a match for you. She says, but one of my 5 turned into a relationship.
Oh.
And she 4 months ago wouldn't have done online dating. So again, the stats about people being weird or not being, the type, this guy wrote her, actually. She didn't even have to write, was educated, was exactly the type. And she said way better than what she would have met, in the bars or things. And of course, then right when she had somebody, I had a new guy for her, after my searching. So again, once you put yourself out there, sometimes it just it pops up. And sometimes it rains, it pours.
So a lot more fun to talk about the disasters, but there are plenty of good happy endings out there. Stef of StefandtheCity.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.